Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back again to Simple Art for Adults. My name is Erin, and today I'm going to do something that I hope I can do again. As you can see, I have my trusty bag of Caliart alcohol markers with some all over my fingers from yesterday, and I tried to scrub it off, but it's not working so well. And I have this image that is a freebie from Bennett Klein. It's on his website in the holiday folder. It was a special release for reaching 10,000 subscribers on his Facebook page. So all the images in this are really, really cute. I've already colored there's the one of the holiday girl, the little steampunk girl. That one is up on my Facebook page. So if you want to see that, you can see it there, or it's in the other video I did today, the mini haul. So today's goal is going to be to take these markers, all 100 of these markers, aren't they so pretty? And we are going to color some of this reindeer. I don't think we're going to get it all done, but we're going to try. So basically what I've done is I've taken my, taken a piece of paper, or actually I went into Word and I made this chart up, and this is every color in the 100 color set. So I have quick reference. I have not pulled these colors out, the ones that I want to use, because I'm just going to kind of go through my colored selecting process with markers like I do with pencils, and we'll do this part together. So it may take me some time once I choose a color to dig it out of this monstrous bag, because there's just so many in there, but we'll see what I can do. Normally I don't store these like this, but because there's so many, storing it on the side, they all tend to tip out. So I just leave them upright while I'm working on something. So, we'll zoom in a little bit. The first thing I want to work on are the flowers up here. They actually look like leaves, but browsing through Bennett Klein's community, most people color them as flowers. So I'm guessing they're maybe like poinsettia leaves or something. When I color with markers, what I tend to do is go from the lighter colors to the darker colors. So I want to start with something light and work my way up to a darker color. So I think what I'm actually going to do is start with R304, if I can find it. Yep, as a matter of fact I did. And I'm going to start by coloring in all of these little flowers. Now, I'm not very proficient with the chisel nib, so I tend to use the bullet nib more than anything just right now. So we will fill in the smaller areas here with the bullet nib. I've already gotten outside the lines a little bit. Ha 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 ha. I'm such a sloppy colorist, guys. Now, anytime you're going to color with alcohol markers, you should always have another sheet of paper behind what you're doing. Now, mine's on a clipboard as well, but there's another sheet of paper behind it too, because these will bleed like crazy. And that other sheet of paper gives the ink somewhere else to go. I am coloring on index cardstock. This is a nice smooth cardstock when compared to something like the vellum Bristol that I would use my colored pencils on. So this is going to be much nicer to your marker nibs. You're not going to tear your nibs up. And you're not going to get quite as much bleed with these either. I'm pretty sure all this down in here is going to be the same as the pine needles, so we're going to leave that alone. Now, I'm not too worried about what this first layer of marker looks like, because I'm going to go over most of this again anyway. So right now I'm just trying to avoid bleeding into anything else where it's not supposed to be. These are the Caliart markers. Of the set of 100 that I received, I only had one that was dry that I could not rescue. I was able to rescue the other by basically pulling the chisel nib out and adding some rubbing alcohol that I had in the bathroom. And it rescued it. I have been in contact with Caliart support, and they are going to send me a replacement for that. So that is very kind of them. I got outside the lines again. It's hard for me to color without moving my paper, so I'm probably going to get outside the lines more than I normally would. Plus, I keep glancing up to make sure I'm in the frame where you can see. So how has everyone's Black Friday been? Did you guys get out and fight the masses for some cheap stuff, or did you stay home and shop online? Or are you like me and you just refuse to participate because it just seems silly to have grown people fighting over everything? I've never ever in my life gone Black Friday shopping. Not once, ever. So there's my admittance for the day. I've never been Black Friday shopping. Something else I found with markers when I'm going to color with markers, if there's something symmetrical on the page, it's like we have these leaves here and these leaves here, I'll work both sides at the same time. This way I don't forget what I did to one side or what colors I used. Now, of course, if I'm working in pencil, I usually will work from left to right so I don't end up smearing things everywhere, but you won't have that issue with alcohol markers. So and if we don't get all this finished today, that's okay. I'll finish in another video. Tomorrow is our tomorrow's the day before Sunday Fun Day. So I can't decide for the Sunday Fun Day, which is my normal color and chat, whether I want to do more ornaments, or maybe I'll do some ornaments tomorrow evening and we'll finish this up during that. I have not decided yet. So if you guys are watching and if it's still Friday, when you guys have an opinion on the matter, let me know. It's always nice to have a little input. And I don't mind, I'm not one of those people, I don't mind when you guys have a request or advice. I've gotten some really amazing advice from YouTube viewers. So, yet another reason, if you've ever considered starting a YouTube channel, it's another good reason to do it. You'll get all kinds of wonderful comments from people that are genuinely helpful. So, I may actually try to use my fine liners in a few places, the Caliart fine liners. I know that a lot of people don't think they're very good for coloring, but I'm wondering if they might not do a little bit better since this paper is so smooth. And it's thicker, so maybe it won't tear the paper up quite as bad. And maybe the ink will come out better. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so that's it for, this is Pastel Rose R304, just in case you guys happen to have these. Alright, so we started with R304. Now I want to move into red, so I'm going to go to R107. And this is going to be vermilion, and typically vermilion's like an orangey red. But on my swatch chart, it doesn't look very orangey. It looks pretty red, so. And what I'm doing in this particular part is just kind of following the lines from the artist and just tapping some color in. Wherever those little lines are. Still trying to figure out how I want to do this, the actual reindeer part of it, because I've seen people do him in real light colors and he looked really nice, and I've seen people do him in dark colors and he looked really nice. So I can't figure, I know I want it to be brown, and I certainly have plenty of browns from which to choose. Just don't know which brown I really want to use on him yet. And just so you all are aware, I did leave my lighter color out, because when I've put my darker colors in, and I am going to go one darker than this too, when I put my darker colors in, and they're both in where I like them, I'm going to use that lighter color to go back through and blend everything together. So right now it looks like, you know, this color is really, really sticking out like a sore thumb. It doesn't look so good. Once I go back and blend it together, it won't look that way anymore. Okay, so now what we do to one side, we're going to turn around and do the other side. So we're going to put the vermilion here too. Just kind of following the lines. I did manage to go to Hobby Lobby today. That was like the only place I went. And I went to Owensboro, Kentucky, which is about half an hour from me. My boyfriend had to go to work today, so I took him to work so I could have the car and everything. And so I didn't even think about it being Black Friday, and we got into town probably around, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning or so was when we originally got there. And the traffic was just so crazy. And where he works is by the mall. So you can only imagine what the traffic was like next to a mall on Black Friday. It was just absolutely, it was a nightmare. I sat through the same stoplight 3 times trying to get back home. I was like, please just let me go home. Oh, we got one more down here. All right, so there's that. So now we have some darker red in. I'm gonna leave that one out in case I need it again. So we used R107. Now I want something really dark, so I'm gonna go with R218. And we're gonna put this like in the darkest areas. So where the black lines are like really, really heavy. See if I can zoom in a little and show you a little better. So if you can see like right here where he's given us the real heavy black lines, that's where this color is going to go. Just right there. And down here. And yes, I am putting it just right over top of the other color we used. I forgot some down in here. See, that's why I left my marker out. Let me get that lighter one back out and get this right here because I forgot it earlier. Let's put that over there. A little bit there. I think I've already done those spots. Just a little right here. All this looks good. Okay, so now let's do this side. Again, I'm just putting it where the darkest lines are. Or in this case, where his thickest lines are. And a little over here. And a little right here. Looks like maybe down right in there too. Sorry if my head gets in the screen. I'm trying to get close because this nib on this marker is quite large compared to the area I'm trying to color. All right. So now that we have all 3 of our colors in, I'm going to go back with my lightest color. And I'm just going to start working them together. And this cardstock is really nice because it won't pill. So I can just keep blending and keep blending and keep blending, and the colors will mix and they won't give me too much grief. Now you have to remember that even with your lighter colors, with alcohol markers, every time you go back over an area, it's going to darken that area. Even if you're just going over it with the same color again, it'll make that same area darker. And you can use that to your advantage too. But just make sure that when you're trying to achieve something like this, that you do keep that in mind. And it's going to dry lighter than what it initially goes on as well. I'm just having the darndest time trying to stay in the lines today. I have to come back with a gel pen or something and try to cover that. Or I may be able to just take my blender marker and blend it away. I don't know. We'll see. I tried that once and made a bigger mess than I started with, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so there's one side of our flowers. Now, if you compare this to this, you can tell the tremendous difference in between the two. This is more blended together and it looks a little bit more natural than this one. So, we'll go again, over here on this side, just blend it all together. And these markers do squeak, so if you're anti-squeaky marker, then yeah. And I think that when people say they prefer the brush nibs, that might be why, because they don't squeak. And these certainly do. But one thing I can certainly appreciate about these markers is that they are very juicy. And there's a very, very good range of colors in the 100 color set. And they layer and they blend for some cheap markers. They do a pretty good job. The only not cheap markers I own are some chameleons. And those markers blend pretty well too. These come close to rivaling them, I think. As far as you're just going to use them for their markering capabilities and, you know, not the whole color tops and whatnot. I think these come pretty close. These are about as close as the best cheap markers you're going to find are these right here. And I've tried some other brands. They arrive in not very good shape, or they don't work very well, or you run into other issues with them. I started with the 40 set of these. And then the company sent me the 100 set for my review, which I'm kind of like incorporating into this video because people generally think review videos are boring. But this is kind of a review, I think. It's a review color and chat. That's what it is. That's what I'm going to call it when I upload it to YouTube. It's a review color and chat. I just ate a whole bunch of peanut butter M&Ms, guys. So, you know, sugar and stuff. Alright, just this little spot here. And that is that. Now if I wanted to, I could go back in with a darker color and separate them even more. But to be honest, I think it looks good just the way it is. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat today. Now I'm going to take my let's see, which one do I want? I think the R317, if I can find that one right here. While we're doing the reds, I'm going to come in and do all the little bows and the little ribbons back here in red as well, because, and probably this one, well, I don't know if I'll do that one. I'll save that one till later. When you put color in, it's like Anne was explaining when she was doing her Mythomorphia picture. If you put color in one part of your image, you want to make sure that you kind of put it somewhere else too. Otherwise, it's going to look a little out of place. So. And it's very tough to get those little bitty lines when I'm this far away from my... Normally I'd like have my paper way up here by my face to get in those little areas. But then you guys couldn't see. Alright, so there's that one. Now let's work on these. I'm going to turn my paper. Nobody's yelled at me for turning my paper yet, so I think I'm in good shape. Trying to decide if I want a Rudolph. And this color is nose red. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. These colors are so, so vivid. This red is just gorgeous. So bright. Oh, I get this little tail. Oh, I went outside the lines, go figure. That's why I said we may end up getting out the fine liners, and I think I'm going to. I'm going to get the fine liners out to do the really small ribbons, because if I don't, I'm going to have a mess. And we'll see how they perform. I tried them on some regular paper, and it was they were okay. Like, they write really nicely. They don't skip. The colors are pretty. It's just that by the time you get enough color down to actually fill something in on a regular paper, you've pretty well eaten a hole through your paper, which isn't a good thing. So maybe on this type of smooth paper, it won't be like that. Do you have any other ribbons like that? Nope, we do not. Okay, so my ornaments I want to be mostly, I think, in purples. So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do this first. We're going to do all this green stuff. And I want it to be like an evergreen color. So something like maybe the 523 here. Oh, you can't see that. 523. I'm going to start with a 915 because it's the lightest, if I can find it. There's the 915, and then I think the 825 for a darker color. All right, so let's start with 915. Oh, these tiny little spaces. They give me such anxiety. No, I'm kidding. It is tough to get in there, though. I find it sometimes best to just like touch the marker to the paper if it's a little tiny spot and you're afraid you're going to go outside the lines. A lot of times that works out pretty well. Just barely tap the marker on the paper. I keep trying to glance up and make sure I'm still coloring in frame. So I made another video today, and it's already up and live on YouTube. I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some of the Koh-i-Noor Tritones. I got some Cretacolor pastel pencils in the colors I use most frequently for backgrounds. I got some brushes that I can use to brush off pencil and eraser dust off my page. So I was pretty pleased with all of that. And it was all on sale. And I had a 40% off coupon, so I did good. Alright. So far, so good. Someone asked earlier if Bennett Klein's work is grayscale. And honestly, it just depends. If you would consider this particular, I don't know. I don't really consider this grayscale. He does have some lines in here for texture, and some of it is darker than others. But for the most part, it's like Kirby Rosanna's books. He just gives you, in these holiday ones anyway, he just gives you like some kind of an idea where it should be darker because of the thickness of the lines or how close together the lines are and that kind of thing. Now, a lot of Bennett Klein's work is absolutely 100% grayscale. This isn't so much, I don't think. Not necessarily to me. Alright, so let's scoot over here. Now, see, if this was Anne, she'd have her chisel tip out and she'd just be going to town and putting me to shame. I guess the chisel tip is one of those things that just requires a lot of practice. I will use it in like the bigger places, like where it's a big, like I'll probably use it on his head, but and stuff like this, there's just no way. I'd have marker everywhere. Okay, so now we'll come back and do these ones. And these are in shadow. These are in the grayscale because they are darker. I think marker just like, it just goes faster than pencil. So like if you're in the mood to just like, you know, instant gratification, you want to see something finished, marker is probably the way to go. There's a lot of times where I'm not like that. I enjoy layering, I enjoy taking my time. So I use pencils a lot. I don't think I'll ever really be a marker girl. It's fun to color in markers, especially when you're traveling. So like if you're going to go somewhere and you're going to want to color while you're away, you know, markers I think are easier to pack up than pencils because then you don't have to pack up, you know, like your colorless blenders and your pencil sharpeners and somewhere to put your pencil shavings and all that stuff. You just have to pack your whatever you're coloring and your markers, and that's all, which is nice. I did a lot of marker coloring yesterday while we were at Thanksgiving dinner waiting for the dinner to be finished. I'm not big into movies. Like I'll watch movies when they come out if they interest me. But then once I've seen it, I don't really care to watch it again. I know I'm like so weird compared to everybody else. And like my boyfriend and a lot of my friends and even my kids, they will watch the same movie like twice a week, and they're happy about it. They're like, "Yay!" Me, I'm like, "Seriously, you're watching this again? How do you even like? You know what's going to happen. What's the point? Why watch it? I mean, the second time maybe, because you know, the second time maybe you'll catch something that you missed the first time. But then after that, it's like, why? Why would you even do it? That's like I said, I'm weird." Here we gotta get these little tips again. Okay, so there's a lot of greenery to cover here. If I was doing pencil, though, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are now. We'd be halfway finished with the first layer and still have 3 or 4 more layers to go. And I think it all comes back to also, you know, back when I first started making videos for YouTube, one of the first videos I ever made was like a, you know, my 10 favorite tips to improve your coloring skills. And one of those tips, or at some point during that video, I mentioned very clearly that colored pencils are not for everyone. They just aren't. That's not me trying to be mean. That's not me trying to say that. I think a lot of people took it as, I don't know where this is going, so I'm just coloring it in. I think a lot of people took that comment as, well, I was trying to tell them that they couldn't do it, that they weren't good with colored pencils, so they shouldn't use them. And that's not what I meant. What I meant was, colored pencils are a slow medium. And if you are interested in getting a finished image that looks like, you know, you took your sweet time blending and shading and, you know, putting a lot of thought into it, you're going to have to take your sweet time blending and shading. You're not going to get like, you're not going to get crazy professional art looking results if it takes you like 10 minutes to color a picture with colored pencil. And if you don't care about the results and you just care about the experience of coloring, again, that's fine. But if you do care about the results and you want something that looks professionally done, it's a slow medium. So again, you know, people really need to take their time and sit and think about what appeals to them, what they prefer when they're coloring. Does it matter more to them that they get instant gratification, or does it matter more to them that they get the experience of slow layering, or does it matter more to them, I don't know, just everything. I think if you find that colored pencils are too tedious for you and you're someone who doesn't care so much about layering and you don't want to layer, well, first and foremost, if you still want to use colored pencils, Prismacolor is going to be the way to go. Otherwise, if you're just kind of fed up with colored pencils in general and you don't know what to do, go with alcohol markers. I mean, granted, it took me a while to figure them out, and I'm still not the best with them. But I'm definitely getting better because I put some practice into it. And I enjoy using them, which makes a tremendous difference. And if you're going to get some alcohol markers, I know you're probably going to hear everybody talk about Copics, how awesome the Copics are. Well, the Copics are also very expensive. If you are okay with that, then by all means go out and buy yourself some Copics. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're not sure whether you're going to enjoy coloring with markers, Copics may not be the best first investment for you. These markers, I don't remember what the price is on them now. I think it's like $59.99 for the full set of 100. You cannot buy them individually, unfortunately, which kind of stinks. So once they are out, they are out. And you would just have to buy another set. But at the price, I mean, it's hard to say no. And they are good quality markers. And I think, like with my daughter, who is big into marker art, she wanted Copics, and we told her, you know, she's still really young. We're not really sure whether or not she's going to keep going with art. I hope she does, but we're not certain. So I told her we would start her out with an inexpensive set like this. And if she kept with it and got to the point where she actually started using up her markers, like her markers started to run out of ink, that maybe we would start slowly switching some of them out for the more professional markers. And if she still continued after that, then we would look into investing in a set for her. And I've had her looking at the Blick Studio brush markers too, because they are so much more affordable than the Copics. And Bailey J, who I will refer to as the Queen of Copics, If you've not checked out Bailey J, I suggest you do, especially if you like markers and funny, spirited, bubbly people, because Bailey J is just awesome. She says that they're the closest thing you're going to get to a Copic, and she likes them. And if Bailey J will use them and color with them and likes them, then by golly, I'm pretty sure my daughter will use them and like them and color with them too. So, I've got her looking into those to see whether or not that would be something that she would be interested in. Like, maybe make a gradual step up, like start her out with something like the Caliart or the Ohuhu markers or something, and then move up to like the Blick markers. Like, we'll buy them open stock as she runs out of colors, and then maybe later we'll graduate her to Copics or something. I don't know. I haven't decided what to do. So much green, guys. And this is only like one side of it too. We still have like all this whole bottom and like all this whole other side over here to go. That's why I said I don't know if we're going to be able to get this whole stinking thing done today, but we'll try. Depends on whether or not I run out of things to talk about. Little bitty spaces. So we ordered her originally, we ordered her the Sioux color markers, which comes in a set of 100. I think we got them while they were on sale or something. And I think that she must have gotten a set that somebody had used and then sent back. Because when she got them, they were like, we took the lids off some of the markers, and some of them were like new and worked just fine. Other ones had like on the chisel nib part, when you took the lid off, there was like green glitter all over the chisel nib. Like somebody had painted something in glitter and then tried to take the chisel marker and color marker over top of the glitter. There's no way that it could have come like that just from the factory. So I'm pretty sure what happened is we got somebody's used set of markers sold to me. Like, I paid for new markers, not used markers. So they did email customer service. They asked me to send pictures of the markers that were damaged. I did. I never heard back. So that's my experience. You all may have had a different experience with that company. That's my experience. So I'm pretty certain I'm finished purchasing much of anything from that company. Although I do like their pencil cases that they have. Now if we get streaks on this first layer, it's not going to make so much difference, because I am going to come back with a darker color and go into some of these areas just to give it some texture. So I'm not really like too concerned if I do end up going outside the lines a little bit, or not outside the lines, if I do end up with a few streaks here and there. Okay, so now we have just down here. Need to figure out what to do with these leaves down here too, because I don't know. Again, these little tiny areas. Oh, I'm almost out of frame, aren't I? Alright. Some of this I'm gonna need to go back and look at references, because I don't know what some of this is. Like, what's this sticking up over here? It looks like an angel wing or something. I'll turn it right side up so you can see. See what I mean? It almost looks like an angel wing or something sticking up. I have no idea. So probably what I'll do is, before I do the rest of this on camera, I'm going to go do some looking around at other people's renditions and maybe ask a few questions to see if I can't figure out what some of this stuff is. So much green. I don't even know. I'm turning it upside down now so I can get to the bottom. Everybody else coloring Christmassy stuff already this time of year, or are you guys trying to stay away from it for a while longer? I know it's going to be time for me to put my Christmas tree up soon. And people cringe and they say, oh my gosh, it's still too early. Well guys, it's after Thanksgiving. I'm an after Thanksgiving type person. I will not put my Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving, because then I feel like Thanksgiving is being treated unfairly. Thanksgiving deserves its 15 minutes of fame. But after Thanksgiving, man, all's fair. Put the tree up, hang the Christmas lights, do what you gotta do. It's just how I feel about it. Like this, I'm not sure, like, are these like little berries or something, I think, down here? I don't know, we're just going to avoid them for right now. Like, I think that might be holly. And these are the holly berries that are like hiding behind there. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. These markers do have a smell, but I don't think they smell as bad as some of the other ones do. I think if you're really particularly sensitive to smells, they might bother you. But I've smelled a lot of different alcohol markers, and these ones aren't as bad as some others. I don't think so anyway. Like, I think Sharpies can stink bad. But these, while they do have an odor, I don't think it's as strong as a Sharpie. Which is good. Oh, get these. This is hard. This little teeny areas. And all I have is the bullet nib to do it with. Which is another reason I think why people always recommend the brush nib, because you can get like finer little details out of it. So that's a piece of ribbon, so I'm going to try to avoid that. Well, I guess we're tackling some of the green. We're going to get some of it done anyway. I'll probably stop after this, because I've been coloring now for 45 minutes and I didn't even realize it. It doesn't feel like 45 minutes. But I will finish this on camera with you guys, now that I feel more comfortable with the markers, for sure. Then this paper helps a lot. Again, it is index cardstock, so it's really smooth, which makes it nice. And it's not expensive. I think I picked up 150 sheets at Walmart for less than $5. So it's not expensive. And it really does make a huge difference, because if you, number one, if you color with markers on rough cardstock, it's gonna go all over the place. Like, it's gonna spread and bleed like crazy. And if you color with your markers on rough cardstock too often, you're gonna tear your markers up. It will ruin the nib of your marker, especially the more fragile brush nibs. It'll just absolutely tear them up. So you want to avoid that as much as possible with your nicer markers. Unless they have replaceable nibs and you don't mind, and in which case, you know, go ahead. I know like Copics have replaceable nibs, but I don't think the nibs are extremely cheap for those. Either way, your call. I'm just telling you that the rough paper will eat away your nibs and ruin them. So you use your best judgment there. And this is just so much better anyway. So I'm trying to learn how to use my scanner a little better so that I can get better quality images. This was printed from PDF, of course. This wasn't something I scanned. I'm really excited to have it on PDF too, because I can color it every single Christmas and it'll make me so happy. Okay. Like my steampunk girl, I can already think of a few different ways I could do her. Out, don't get me wrong, but for even if I don't, if I wait till next year, I've got some different ideas. And that's a whole year away, so I get excited thinking about the skills I will have gained by that point. So that's exciting too, because I am brand new with markers. I decided yesterday morning, early, because I got up early and didn't really have much to do. I decided I would sit down and swatch out all 100 of the markers, because I hadn't done it yet. And so once I got them swatched out, started looking at all the colors, I decided that I really wanted to color with them. So then I did Steampunk Holiday Girl, whatever her name. I don't even know if she has a name. Bennett Klein sometimes will name his images, but I don't think he did with these. So did her, and I was so pleased with the outcome that I wanted to do another. And then there's a Santa Claus image, I think, that he has in that 4-page bundle, and I can't remember what the other one is. There's another one too, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. If you want to go to Bennett Klein's shop and look for that. I don't know if they're still free, but they were. Let's see. We're getting there, guys. We're almost done with all the first layers of this green anyway. And then we'll come back in later another time with a darker green to give it some more depth, if it's even really necessary. The way he's drawn this, it doesn't really seem like it's too necessary to do that. But we'll see. Down in those little bitty spaces again. Let's see. This is all green. Around the ornament. Or the ribbon of the ornament, I should say, in between. And then when I finish this up here in just a second, because we're almost done with this green, I will zoom back out and let you guys see it. Because it's really hard to get an eye for what it really looks like when you're zoomed in this close. I gotta get in these little areas. Okay, and then these. And the good thing about this is that this kind of paper too is that like with a toothier paper, you can't color right up next to something because it'll just keep spreading, and so you'll end up with like 2 or 3 millimeters of color over where you wanted to put it, which kind of put me off to markers. The first time I ever used them, I decided I just couldn't do it. It was too much effort to try to realize where I needed to stop, and so then I got this paper and I was like, oh, well, this is how markers work. Almost done, guys. Last little piece here. And I do believe that's that. So let's zoom out so you can get a better look at it. It's very pretty. Pretty excited about getting some different colors in there. Trying to decide what colors to do this. I may actually do, because all these little bows on the ornaments, I'm going to do all of them, I think, red. Maybe. I don't know. I want purple ornaments. Excuse me. I think my cold's coming back. Irritating me. So I don't know whether to do this red or this purple, because we've got so much red up here. It really feels like I should pull some red down here and make this bow and all this red too. But I'm not sure yet. So anyway, guys, that's it. That is installment 1 of coloring Bennett Klein's Holiday with Caliart Markers. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope maybe you guys are inspired to try some alcohol marker coloring of your own. I know that I got a little frustrated with it at first, but to be perfectly honest with you guys, all it took was a little tiny bit of practice and the right paper. Really, the practice and the right paper makes a huge difference. So this has been a lot of fun. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please feel free to do so. Hit the little bell so you'll know when I upload something new. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it. And I'll see you guys either tomorrow or Sunday, or maybe both. Thank you so much for tuning in to Simple Art for Adults.